Hey guys, super excited to be able to show you this video. Basically, we're going to do a complete walkthrough of the platform. So I'm going to show you everything that you need to know, regarding the navigation, where you're going to be finding things, basically just how you're going to get around. So this video is not going to be super technical. I'm not going to be teaching you how to do a bunch of things. We have the support center here down at the bottom left for that. That's going to basically, give you the in-depth how-tos on how to basically do everything. So you have this whole archive of videos if you ever need to find something specific. But basically, we're just going to show you around. So if you want to, log in and go through this with me as well, you can do that. Basically, we're going to start from the dashboard and we're going to work our way down, and we're going to go through the settings just to kind of give you an idea of everything that you need to be aware of. So let's start off with the dashboard here. So opportunities is another way of talking about your leads. So leads are opportunities, and that's what we've decided to call them. So this is just a demo account that I'm showing you. This is all fake information in here, but basically as leads come in, they'll show up here. You can put a dollar amount to the value of these deals that you're closing so that you can actually see how much money you're making as well as your conversion rate. So the three things here: closed, open, and lost. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Closed are the deals that you're closing. Open are the deals that are still possibly happening, and then lost are the deals that are just not going through. So it's going to kind of help you see where you're at, where you need to improve, and it's actually a super helpful metric to improve your process. So aside from that, that's pretty much all you have to do regarding the dashboard. So you do have an overview of your pipeline here as well. You can have you can see where your different leads are as far as what stage they're in your pipeline. And if you do decide to create some tasks for yourself or maybe your team members, you can view those tasks here, and you can also sort them by the person that is doing them. So we also have a review management system coming out soon, so this is where that will come into play. But the rest of it, you don't need to worry about just yet. So basically, let's head over to the Conversations tab. So hopefully you have downloaded our mobile app by this time, but basically the mobile app as well as this desktop platform are going to allow you to communicate with your leads completely. So all communication with a lead is going to be housed in one area. So basically we can text people, we can email people, we can have phone calls, and we can message from the Facebook business page that you're going to connect. So all four of those methods of communication are all housed right here. So let's say I want to talk to Michael Scott. If I'm going to send Michael Scott an email, I'll just click this email button, and then I can send him an email. It's going to show up right here. If I want to start texting him, I can keep texting him here. And it's going to show both the email and the text here so that I can actually go back and see every form of communication that I have with Michael Scott. So it's super helpful for keeping track of everything. You'll never have to worry about missing information, especially important pieces of information. It makes it super easy to go back and kind of see where you're at. So over here on the right, you've just got a profile card for the person as well. It shows you what stage in the pipeline they're in. If you want to add them to any sort of follow-up campaigns, you can do that right here. If they're an angry person and they tell you to stop texting them, you can just quickly pop them over into Do Not Disturb. This will opt them out of all communication. So as well as you can add a tag here. So a tag is basically just a label. So some people like to label these like a buyer lead or a seller lead. So you can do that right here. So you can also schedule them into your calendar from here, and that's pretty much it with the the Conversations tab. You're going to get all of this in the mobile app as well, so you'll be able to do all of this on the go. So in the Opportunities tab, this is what I keep referring to as the pipeline. So pipeline is another way of just talking about your lead list, your potential deals that could be happening. So this is a standard layout that we give everyone. We typically will do a new leads stage here on the left, and then the next stage here is first contact. So the first time you reach out to them. And then the second stage here is, or the third stage here, is second contact. That's going to be the second time you reach out to them. And for all of your accounts, you'll have a third contact as well, but I just wanted to show you everything on one screen rather than having to scroll. So then after that, we have appointment set and appointment completed. So the whole purpose of this is basically to help you stay super organized with everything going on in your pipeline. So, as you're running campaigns, new leads are coming in. They'll show up here on the left stage. And then let's say I call Ted Brooks. So I've already reached out to him, so now I'm going to just drag him into the first contact section. So now I've already talked to Ted Brooks once. Maybe I'm also going to talk to Sydney. The second time, maybe in a couple days, I'm going to reach back out to Ted. So I reached out to him again, so I'm going to put him in the second contact section, and might as well put Sydney there as well because I'm going to reach out to her. So then it's pretty much just that easy. If you set an appointment with Ted, you can put him here in appointment set. If you conducted an appointment, you could put them in here. Super easy to use, and you also get all of this on your mobile app as well, so you can do this when you're away from your computer. Now these stages that I'm showing you here, they're super easy to change or add new ones if you'd like. So what a lot of people like to do is they'll add one that says appointment no show, so they want to know how many people are not showing up to their appointments, because then you can add them to a follow-up campaign. You can start sending them messages like, hey, we missed you. You didn't show up to your appointment. Is there another time that works? Stuff like that. So basically, you can add any stage that you want. You can literally name them whatever you'd like. So some people have even gone as far as first, second, third, fourth, fifth contact, or like I said, the no-show. Some people like to show their appointments rescheduled so that they know how many people are having to change things around. So it's totally up to you, however you feel is going to keep you basically most organized. So you can have multiple pipelines as well. We always just give you one to start. Some people like to have one pipeline for buyer leads, and then some people have a pipeline for seller leads. So it's completely up to you how you'd like to lay that out. But the next thing I want to look at is the marketing tab. So this is a pretty big section. We're going to spend a lot of time here, especially if you plan on following our lead generation training. So basically, campaigns is where you're going to go to create your follow-up campaigns. So we have some templates in here for you, and we also have templates for our lead generation training in here as well. So I'm just going to show you an example of one of these templates. So this is basically how a follow-up campaign looks. You have a combination of things here. You have some text messages, some emails, some calls, and looks like a voicemail drop here as well. If you don't know what that is, it basically is how it sounds. It's going to drop a voicemail in their inbox without actually calling them. So it's a super good way, a super effective way to generate some callbacks, because somebody's going to check their phone. But even though they didn't, receive a call from you, they got a voicemail from you. So they'll listen to it and they'll want to call you back. So the good thing about those is, some people just don't like to answer the phone when it's from a number that they don't know. So voicemail drops are a super easy way to bypass them hanging up on you or rejecting your call. And you just drop a voicemail in there and they'll call you back. So the call thing here, this is basically going to call the lead for you. If they pick up, it is going to notify you that they've picked up and that they're waiting for you, and it's going to give you the opportunity to connect on the phone with them right there. So this is super effective at really automating a lot of these interactions with leads. So we just have a bunch of things in here, more emails, more texts. So all you would have to do is just click on edit, and you can actually see and customize a little bit more about this. But the support center down below here is going to actually go into more detail about how to actually create these campaigns from scratch. But the gist of it is, you just click add event. You choose what you'd like to do. You can even do Facebook Messenger campaigns, and you would just set up the time of when you want it to send. So the way this works is, as soon as somebody's added to this campaign, it's going to send this first one immediately, and then it's going to send this one after 2 minutes. And it's going to call them after 3 minutes, and then it's going to send them an email the next day, and then this text will also be the next day after the email. And this is all completely customizable, so if you'd like to space it out a little bit more, you can do that as well. And then you have your campaign configuration settings here as well. So if you only want to send these things in a certain window, you can set all of that up here. You can type in what from name and from email you'd like people to receive your emails from. There's a lot that you can do with this, so definitely check out the support center to learn a little bit more about how to do that. But the next section I'm going to go over is bulk requests. So let's say that I have a list of 100 leads, and maybe I created 2 follow-up campaigns, one for my buyer leads and then one for my seller leads. So I'm going to come here and I am going to create a bulk request that is going to add those 50 of those buyer leads to that follow-up campaign for buyers, and then I'm going to basically add the other 50 to that seller campaign. So bulk requests are how you basically make big actions like that happen quickly. So it's super useful if you need to get a lot done in a short amount of time. So trigger links here, it's basically when you create these follow-up campaigns, whether it's email or text, if you want to put a link in there, you can basically have an action happen as soon as somebody clicks that link. So maybe I want it to, as soon as somebody clicks the link in maybe one of the emails I'm sending, I want to get notified, or maybe I want to add them to a follow-up campaign. Maybe I want to remove them from a different follow-up campaign. That's basically where trigger links come in. So you can get really, really detailed with what you want to happen when people click on things. This is more of an advanced feature for sure, but it does have a lot of use when you do utilize it properly. So the next thing that I'm going to look at is the form builder. And there's 2 basic forms in here that you can use. So these are not landing pages, these are not web pages, these are just a form itself. We can embed this form pretty much anywhere, and it doesn't even have to be somewhere in Astro Engine. So if you would like to put a lead intake form like this, such as the one I'm showing you, you can basically put this on your website. If you have access to get somebody to help you embed the code onto your website, you can do that. And then when this form is on your website, people would submit it on your website, and that lead information would come here into Astro Engine without you having to do anything. So it's a good way to basically get information pulled in from outside sources. So that's why this is a completely separate section. And it's super easy. It's just drag and drop. If I want to ask for an address, I can do that. If I want to see what state they're in, you can do stuff like that. So it's super easy to build, and you can even add custom questions. So maybe I want to, if I'm targeting buyers, I can figure out what purchase price they're looking in, stuff like that, right? So it's super easy to use, and like I said, the support center videos are going to go more in depth on how to actually create this stuff. But the next thing here is survey builder. So if you go through our lead generation training, you're going to spend a little bit of time here, because we like to do pre-qualifying surveys when we run ads. So we're not just getting name, email, and phone number, right? So here's an example of what we use for our Facebook ad. We do a home buyer program, and we basically just ask all this information. So this is all questions that we're basically going to have answers to up front as soon as they become a lead. And this works really good at getting people to commit a little bit more of their time to becoming a lead. So this generates a lot higher quality leads that are more receptive to being reached out to, because if they're submitting a survey like this, answering these kind of personal questions, they're typically going to remember. So if you've ever had experience with lead generation where you're just generating name, email, and phone number leads, this will be a very different experience for you in a good way, because these leads are a lot higher quality than something you might find from some of those other campaigns. So this is basically the same concept, though. If you want to put this on your website, you can embed this anywhere on the internet, basically, as long as you have access to embed code. So and it uses that same drag and drop questionnaire builder as well. Now, basically, SMS and email templates, it's pretty self-explanatory. You would come here if you want to create text or email templates that you could pull into different campaigns. So HTML email builder is something I'm definitely not going to spend some time with. It's a more advanced way of building an email. Nick has a great video on exactly how to do that inside of the support center. But basically, an HTML email is just a different style of email. They're more aesthetically pleasing. If you're subscribed to any email lists, most likely those are all HTML emails. So the ones with a lot of images in them, maybe videos, GIFs, stuff like that. The ones that really look nice and they're not just plain text. Those are all HTML emails. So if you'd like to get super creative with your email campaigns, you can do that in this section here. So that's it with the marketing tab. With reporting, we're going to have our Google Ads reporting. When you start running Google Ads and when you connect your Google account, you'll be able to track some important metrics here. And then in the Facebook Ads section, it's the same thing. When you connect your Facebook ad account, you're going to be able to check how many clicks your ads are getting, what's your average cost per click, stuff like that. So this is super useful so that you can do everything you need to right within the platform. You don't have to go over to Facebook and Google if you want to see how your ads are doing. So that's pretty much all we're going to go over in the reporting section right after I go over the call reporting. So basically, we do call tracking with the Twilio number that you might have set up already. But basically, all your recorded calls are going to show up here at the bottom under the latest phone call section, and then it's going to just give you some important information about how many calls are coming in, how many are missing, how many new calls are coming in, and the average duration. So basically, you want to come here if you ever want to listen to one of your old calls. We like to track calls because if you maybe forgot a little piece of information from a lead, maybe you forgot to you set an appointment with someone and you forgot to remember what time it was. So you could always come back here and listen to that call and remember which time you set your appointment at. So that's super useful. That's it with reporting. Scheduling, we're going to look at the calendar now. So you can link this to your Google Calendar, and I'll show you where to do that in just a second. But basically, you would just come here, and this is kind of an overview. By default, it's a weekly overview of your calendar, so you can view it as a month, and you can basically look at all your appointments here. And all you would have to do if you wanted to just add a new appointment, you would just basically find the day and time that you want to schedule a new appointment for. So I can just click here, and boom, that's going to generate a new appointment. I can type in who it's with and what time it is, where it is, stuff like that. So if you have any questions on any of this stuff, just email us at support@goastroengine.com, and we'll be able to hopefully get some answers to you. So another place that you can go to kind of view your appointments is here in the appointments section. You can also schedule new appointments here, but this is just a little bit nicer of a list view of all of your upcoming appointments. So some people prefer this style just so that they can see kind of everything without it being in like a calendar format. So again, like I said, you can also schedule appointments here, but that's all a pretty self-explanatory section. Now, reputation. Reputation management is a service that we're going to be coming out with. We're going to include that at no cost. So it's something that you'll already get, just by paying for the platform. But we want to basically fix the issue, involving reputation, where some agents who maybe don't have as many reviews as a lot of those top agents, they're sometimes overlooked when people are looking for an agent to work with if they don't have a referral. So they'll just go on Google and they'll basically look for the guy with the best reputation, and a lot of times that guy ends up being the one who has like 70 reviews. They'll go with that person a lot of times rather than giving the person who has maybe 4 or 5 reviews a shot. So the goal with the reputation management system is basically when a new deal closes, when you actually finish with someone, we want the system to reach out to them and ask them to basically review you on Facebook and Google, so that every time you're closing a deal, you're getting 2 reviews, one on Google and one on Facebook. And hopefully, over time, that's just something that just helps you all build up your reputation, as soon as you're closing deals. So there are going to be, current reviews. You're constantly getting new ones coming in. That's going to help you rank better on Google, and it's going to help you look a lot better on Facebook as well. So that's the hopes with that. We will let you guys know as soon as that's ready. The section you want to look at next is contacts. So contacts here is basically just that. It's your contact list. So If you want to search for people here, you can do that. One thing that I like to do in here is if I have a couple people in here, maybe I want to add one of those tags that I was talking about, which is the label. I could do that. I could type in something like buyer lead, and boom, just add a tag to them. So now all 4 of these people, they've got the tag that says they are a buyer lead. So basically, if you also want to manually add some leads in here, you would want to click this add contact button, and you can do that. You can manually pull in people. If you're getting leads from an outside source, you can just pull them in here, and then that way you can start adding them to follow-up campaigns in our system. So you can do that all in this section. Manual actions is going to be tasks, basically. So if any tasks regarding certain things are assigned to you, you can come here and view them. Contact requests. It's basically more for internal purposes, so you don't really have to worry about anything here. Funnels and websites. Below that, this is where basically our funnel builder is. So this is our really nice drag and drop funnel builder. You can create new funnels. You can there's no limit, so you can have as many as you'd like. This is where you're going to basically come and create the landing pages and stuff for the lead generation training. So I'll show you what that looks like. Here's a preview of what that landing page looks like. This is the type that we kind of use for a lot of our Google and YouTube ads. So these are already built out for you templates that you just have to come in here and swap your information on. But basically, our website and landing page builder is super easy to use. If you've ever used anything like ClickFunnels, it's a lot like that. So it's literally just drag and drop. You'll notice how I hover over these things and they're different colored blocks. So basically all you're doing is you're dragging something in. You have all these elements to choose from, and you would just drag something in and you would write your headline here. Boom, just as easy as that. So that's kind of the gist of our funnel builder. I don't want to get too much into that. We have a lot of training videos on how to make good looking landing pages from scratch. So basically that's kind of the gist of that. We also have a website template for you as well. So if you want to come in here and build your own website, you can do that without having to pay a separate fee for some sort of website building service. So this is just a template that we have. You would come in here again and you would swap your information out. But these templates look really nice, and I think a lot of you guys would really like this. So you would just basically spend some time creating this, making it your own, and you'll have your own website. So that'll be it in that section. Triggers is where a lot of the technical stuff happens, is where the magic happens, basically. So a trigger is basically when it's a if this then this type of action. So when this thing happens here on the side that says 1, it's going to do all of these actions instantly that happen on this side under the 2. So in this example, it says when survey is submitted, and that survey is buyer survey Google plus YouTube, which is one of those surveys that I was showing you just a few minutes ago. When that is submitted, which means they become a lead, in other words, it's going to do all of this on the right. So first, it's going to add them to our pipeline in that new lead stage that I was showing you. It's going to add them to an SMS campaign here. It's going to send you a notification on the mobile app, and then it is something that you can also add multiple other things to. You can remove people from campaigns. You can add them to multiple campaigns. You can add one of those tags. Let's see, you can send yourself an email or a text as well as a notification, if that's something you'd like to do. So that's kind of the gist of triggers. They're super, super helpful at basically saving you time. So you're not having to do everything manually. A lot of stuff can happen instantly, and it's super nice to make this process a lot easier. So below that, we've got settings. So basically, yours will look a tad different because you'll have a profile and then a company section up here. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that both the profile section and the company section are completely filled out. You want to make sure that you don't have blank spots like this. You want to make sure you have an email in there and a phone number. And when you're doing the company part, this doesn't actually have to be the brokerage's information. This can just be yours. It's okay if the profile and the company information are the same, but you do want that stuff filled out. And then you would put your address in here, and then the super important one is to make sure that your time zone is correct. So in the settings, the only other things you really have to worry about is pipelines. So this is where you're going to go to basically adjust those pipeline stages that I was talking about. So you would come in here, you would rename this pipeline to whatever you want, and then this is where you would either change those stages. So maybe I want to add like a third contact. I'll just add that there. Boom. So that's how you instantly add stages, or I could rename current ones, stuff like that. So you can easily delete them as well. So that's kind of where you would do that, and you can create multiple pipelines here as well, so you're not limited to just one. So integrations, this is where you're going to want to integrate both your Google account and your Facebook account. So the reason you want to integrate your Google account is because you basically want to link your Gmail calendar. So you would just click the connect button, and then it'll prompt you to connect your Gmail account. Then you're good with that. With the Facebook one, you would click connect, and basically it's going to prompt you to connect your Facebook account. So you would click this continue as button, and it's going to bring you to a page where it'll have you select your Facebook page. So once you do that and connect it, you'll see this button turn green saying it's connected, but then you will see a select Facebook page blue button right below this. So like I said, this will turn green, and then the new select Facebook page button will be below that. So click that select Facebook page button again, and it'll prompt you to select that Facebook page one more time. And then once you do that and connect it, then you will be completely set up here. So what that does, by connecting your business page, you are going to now receive messages from your business page. Whenever somebody messages you, that message is going to come up in here. So it's super effective at helping you to never miss out on your Facebook business page messages. That's been a big issue with a lot of the agents that we talk with who aren't on their social media as often as some other people. So that is a good fix for that. So that's all you need to do in integrations. The next section you want to look at is a phone number. So this is where you're going to set up your Twilio number. So you'll see this banner here at the top. You don't want to click resolve. You can just ignore that, because you want to come here and you want to set it up manually. So add number here. You just want to click, you want to click on that, and then you want to type in your area code. So I'm from Colorado, so I'm going to type in 720. And I'm just going to pick one of these numbers. It really doesn't matter. You can pick whatever number you would prefer, but I'm just going to select this one. So basically what we're going to do is when we select that number, we're going to edit the information on that number here. So I'm going to name this my phone number, and I'm going to forward this to my personal number. And then I'm going to make sure that all three of these are checked out. So the only thing that I'm going to want to type in here is a whisper message is basically a message for you. So whoever's calling you is not going to hear the whisper message. This is for you when you answer it. So it really helps you to not be caught off guard when a lead is calling you. So when you pick up the phone, it'll display this message before connecting you, and then you'll know it's go time. You're about to talk to a lead. So this message can be whatever you'd like. A lot of agents basically just do something like, you have a call from a new lead, something as simple as that. But it's really whatever you'd like to say. So then you don't have to type in anything for these two. You can leave that blank, and then you click update. And then boom, now that call tracking number is set up perfectly. So basically this is the number that you want to use for like your follow-up campaigns, and the number that you want to put on like the landing page and stuff like that, because when people call this number, it's going to forward directly to your personal number. And basically this is just how we're going to be able to track those calls. We want to record them, we want to track them. So that's how that's done. So it also keeps your personal number from being out on the internet. So you'll get significantly less amounts of spam. So that's kind of nice as well. Now, once you're done doing that, you can head over to the calendar section. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you can have as many Twilio numbers as you'd like. We typically only recommend using one for everything, but if you'd like to have multiple numbers, you can as well. So I'm just going to leave that. Now for the calendar, you would want to click on this. We've already got a calendar built for you, but you would want to click on this little pencil button. So what you can do is you can rename this calendar, and then you can just sit here and kind of go through all this and adjust your calendar settings based on what you would prefer. So these brackets, in between words like this, you don't want to mess with those because those are basically auto-filled pieces of information. So you don't have to type in anything there. It's going to automatically pull in the name of the person that you're having the appointment with. So you can set things like how much you want the time slot duration to be. If you want any sort of buffer in between appointments, maybe you want a minimum scheduling notice, you can do that. Maybe you want 2 or 3 days, right? Maybe you want to keep people from booking more than 10 days in advance. You would do that here as well. And you can just kind of sit here and go through all of this. Down here towards the bottom is where you would go to basically set your availability. And this is why it's important to set the right time zone for you as well. So what you really want to do here to link your Gmail account, once you integrate it in that Google section, you're going to come here and you're going to select it. You'll see the Google in the drop down, and then you would click on that, and then it'll present you with another drop down where you can select the calendar that you'd like to use. So then you just do that and click save, and then your calendar is all set. So templates is another section where you can go to create text and email templates, and custom fields is where all of your basically survey questions show up. So not the answers to the questions, but just the questions themselves, so that you can basically, if you ever want to just start creating a list of different questions that you want to be able to ask and add in future surveys or forms, you can create those here, or you can also create those in the survey and form builder in the marketing tab. So you have 2 ways of doing that. So Facebook form fields mapping is where you will go for whenever you build a lead ad for our single listing campaign. So that's basically how you'll get information from those lead ads to pull into the system from Facebook. And then domains, this is where you're going to come when you want to add a new domain, whether that's through Namecheap or GoDaddy like we train on. So you would just easily do that, and you would follow our domain setup videos to do this properly. It's super easy. And tags, here's a list of all the tags that you create. So you can see the buyer lead tag that I just created. That is where you would go to kind of see a list of them, or to create a bunch of new ones if you want to create new ones without actually adding them to people yet. So that's pretty much it with the platform. Now, one thing I do want to show you is our support center. So if you do have any sort of questions, you can always search here and see if you can find the answer. If not, you can just click new support ticket and our support team will help you out. The lead generation training tab here, this is where you're going to access the Facebook, Google, and YouTube training. So you would come here, you'd start watching the videos from top all the way down to the bottom. You would start with these 2 videos, and then you would choose if you want to do the home buyer program to get some buyer leads, or if you want to do the single listing ad, if you want to sell a specific house. So it's up to you. You would just basically click on the videos, and they're short, easy to understand, and they're laid out in a way that's going to teach you everything you need to know start from finish, and they're super easy. So that's pretty much it with the platform. Now, like I said, if you do have questions, email us at support@goastroengine.com, or just message us, and we will do our best to explain things further if you do need further clarifications on any of the stuff that you saw here today. So aside from that, that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys.